All right, today we're gonna use the Andis Mastsr with the old school fade blade. Did I say fade blade? I meant to say taper blade. We're gonna start our guideline off with this AliExpress trimmer, which is the mother company of the TPOB X and the XO trimmer lengths. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. Fantastic trimmer. Before the tariffs, before those days, these trimmers were incredibly cheap. They've gone up in price a little bit, but they are phenomenal. The blade on this trimmer is fantastic for bulk. It's decent for lineups, decent to good, okay? It is a clone of the TPOB X. The only thing I could tell you the difference between the TPOB X and this trimmer is just the blade. The crazy blade and the cycle blade are fantastic. Both trimmers are hitters, no question at all. I enjoy using both of them. Now that we got all that out the way, got a little touch up right here, my man. Guys, Happy New Year. It is gonna be a beautiful new year. I want everybody to have their eyes on their goals, and I want you to put money aside for retirement. Yes, that's right. I talked about it in another video. Stop playing with your future, okay? It's very important. But let's move on to the Masters, okay? So I like to start off with the Masters open, and I'm on that angle, and I'm flicking out, okay? My boy has very, very, very fine hair, very fine hair. And with that being said, it looks bald quickly. That's what I mean by that, all right? And I'm going to fade out from about a 1.5 down to 0 just with this Masters, okay? Now, if you don't really understand how I'm doing that, by holding the clip at an angle and kind of freestyling as I come off the head, that's how I'm able to achieve that, okay? A small move in the lever can change the amount of hair that this clipper is grabbing and eating, okay? Watch me carefully and you will see that just small increments can make the hugest difference, okay? Now generally, I have two ways that I go about this. I start open and then I close it almost completely. I go up to the first notch and I'll try to blend out that line where the trimmer was. And then I will go just a little bit closed from the open position to take out that final line. Now what's crazy is just with the Masters alone, you can start getting that beautiful blended look without even playing with guards, nothing like that. If I was in a situation and I had no plastic and I really was confident, I could probably complete the whole fade with just the clipper alone. But I will tell you this, that is risky, 100% risky. You could ruin the fade. With this freehand technique, some people call this the tiger claw. I've heard that in the comments section. Some people call it the zero guard technique. It's very risky. I've been doing it for about 1 full year now, okay? I'm not gonna lie, Professor Miracle Wrist put me on to this technique, and I came a long way with it. I was looking back on another video and I was doing way too much lever movement, way too much. I learned that small lever increments, pressure, angles are more important than lever movements with this technique. Now this guy's hair, again, it is one of the thinnest hairs that I've ever faded, okay? So it's not as forgiving, but at the same time, if it's done correctly, the pros are that it does fade faster than as if you were to fade someone with thicker hair, right? But nonetheless, absolutely love this white Masters, by the way. I got this from professionalproductsandmore.com. They have some stuff that's like hard to find, and I do want to get the black label corded. They still have it in stock. I can't even believe it. I thought they listed it by accident, but no, it was there. And by the way, guys, we are filming on Meta glasses, Gen 2. Of course, Wayfair style, because that's the flyboy style. I don't like the Skylers and none of that. I think the Skylers are personally kind of feminine looking. They're for ladies. I can't see a guy wearing those. But nonetheless, all right. See how, you can go straight up. It's about being confident, If I don't have the confidence, I'm not gonna go all the way up the side of the head with free hand, no way. My number 2 guard is a key point in the fade, because with the right flick on a number 2 guard, you're not gonna see through the scalp no more. And then what that means is basically you can go from clipper comb from that point up if need be. Not gonna lie, I personally prefer going in with the 4 past the 2.5, but it's perfectly fine to go in and finish that fade with the clipper comb or the 4. Now what you're seeing me do right here, this is the Fat Master. So underneath the 2 guard, right, I like to polish up with the Fat Master. I'll start all the way open, okay, and then I'll come down like a half a notch or a full notch, because those are big movements with the Fat Master, because the Fat Master is very, very effective of grabbing hair. So that's the thing about a lot of Andis products, right? There it is again, there's the Fat Master. It grabs a lot of hair quickly. So you only want to go down like a quarter of a notch, a small little bit of a notch at a time. You just want to soften that line, that's it. And boom, now we're gonna get into the clipper comb. So that's the 2.5 into the clipper comb. Now, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not mistaken, I did go back in and polish this up with the 4. I just didn't like the way it looked, man. After I hit it with the clipper comb, it was acceptable, right? But for me, this is my man's right here. I had to make sure it was on point. So I did go in with the 4 later on. But if you're into speed cutting, you're into getting things done ASAP, fast movement of clients, lower quality possibly, then that would be the case. So this is, I'm not a pro at clipper comb, I'm not gonna lie, but I got a lot of practice in the last 1.5 years, and I started incorporating it into my haircuts, and I'm glad I did. It saves a lot of time, and to be honest, there are times when it calls for it. It really does. So what you might notice here is I'm holding the comb left to right on this part of the head, but on the other side of the head, I was holding it vertical, up and down, right? See, here I am turning it the other way, but that's because the hair grows straight down on this side that we're looking at, and the other side, the hair kind of grows forward, so it grabs through the comb better that way. The back's always a little bit easier. It always seems to slide through the clipper comb a little bit better. Not gonna lie. So you have 2 choices with the swirl in the back of the head with your straight hair customers. You can cut the swirl off. I don't always recommend that, but for kids I do, because they never do their hair anyway. But especially for older dudes or people in their 20s and 30s and up, I wouldn't recommend it because it makes you look bald. But a lot of men don't want to do their hair. It's like they're 2-year-old children. They just want it cut off. So you can cut that off with like a 4 or a 6, and then clipper comb the top section in usually. And guys, I want you to check out my video, EQ versus IQ. I worked in a 38 chair barbershop. Find out what it takes to be remembered. Here's some other videos. I worked 7 days a week, and this is what I learned. And of course, if you want to see the tutorial about the smart glasses, I threw that up too. And the greatest clipper ever made, Andis Mastsr.